Hi everyone, thank you so much for watching my video. I truly appreciate your time and listening pretty much. I want to talk about what's important and what represents me and my culture, and that would be Mardi Gras. And I thought what perfect thing to talk about than Mardi Gras, since it is officially Mardi Gras season in the state of Louisiana. So I wanted to kind of go over a few things that represents Mardi Gras, right? So the number one thing that we need to kind of go over before going over all of these wonderful things that I have set up here is that Mardi Gras is not just one day, Fat Tuesday, it is an actual season. So just like Christmas, Mardi Gras is a season. So Mardi Gras typically kicks off January 6th and it can end anywhere between February 3rd and March 9th. It always depends on when Easter is. So remember that Fat Tuesday is 46 days before Easter. So with that being said, I have a few things here that kind of represent what Mardi Gras is all about, and it's kind of important to our family because it's kind of a staple to help us stay connected to New Orleans, even though we're here in Florida. So one of the things that we use to kick off the Mardi Gras season is a king cake. Now a king cake is just pretty much the staple pastry in kicking off the celebration. So I don't actually have a king cake, but I do have my king cake mix that I do plan to make at some points. However, the king cake represents, like I mentioned, the kickoff to the celebration of Mardi Gras, and everybody does it. So you'll have, your co-workers may bring it in for work, some of your schoolmates may bring in a king cake, whoever, everybody's welcome to bring in a king cake. Inside of a king cake, there's always a small little baby. Whoever is lucky enough to get the baby, that's the person who will host the next king cake party or bring in the next king cake. The next thing I have here is this wonderful elaborate bead that I caught, and I caught this particularly from the Zulu parade. Now, a little history on that. Mardi Gras began to celebrate or became a staple of celebration in the 17th and 18th century. Now, we all know that a lot of the influence in culture is based off of the French, a little bit of the Catholic, Christian religion, and things of that nature. So a lot of the celebrations and the way that we celebrate is based off those cultural influences. This is important because in the past, long ago, when Mardi Gras first kicked off, you didn't have women or black people who actually were on carriages in the parades or on the floats in today's time. So you may have had them working on the costumes. You may have even had them, working on the carriages and the floats, making them beautiful and elaborate. But you never really saw any women or black people riding in the carriages in the earlier days and in the floats in recent times. So this is important to us because not only is this a catch from the Zulu parade, the Zulu crew is the only black crew in New Orleans. And there's social clubs that march and parade throughout the city, but they're social clubs, and there's plenty of black social clubs. But an actual crew, that's almost like a step up. And Zulu is the only crew that kind of parades in the city of New Orleans. And because Mardi Gras is an actual season, the closer you get to Mardi Gras, the bigger the festivities are. Zulu actually is the only black crew, and they actually march on Mardi Gras Day, which is a huge deal in the city of New Orleans. So they typically begin about maybe 8 a.m. So everybody's up by 6. You're out looking for a spot to catch these elaborate floats, 23 of them to be exact, and they're pretty much lighting up the streets of New Orleans on Tuesday morning. That's the parade you're going to see. They kick off Fat Tuesday. So this is why this is important. Lastly, I have my umbrella here, and this is also a Zulu catch. However, the umbrella represents a little bit more than just the crew of Zulu. Of course, it's an awesome catch. However, it also represents a lot of the culture. If you're familiar with New Orleans, we do a lot of second lining, meaning that we celebrate in the streets of New Orleans with dancing and celebrating, whether it's life or death, and we call it second lining. And the brass band comes out, they play, you know, a lot of New Orleans songs, staple songs that we know, and anybody that you see second lining, most likely you're going to see them with an umbrella. This is no exception to the rule on Mardi Gras Day. If you catch an umbrella on Mardi Gras Day, especially a Zulu one, you are a lucky duck. Either way, these items represent the culture, most importantly the holiday, and I wanted to share these things with you guys. This means a lot to me because this represents, like I said, the culture of New Orleans, not just Mardi Gras. Second lining is a huge culture that's related to who we are. We celebrate with it, whether it's life or death, like I mentioned before, and it's important to our family, and it's important to me. The necklace represents the crew of Zulu, which is the first and only black crew in New Orleans that marches on Mardi Gras Day. Like I mentioned, it's a huge deal, and honestly, I keep it around because, one, it was an amazing catch and I don't want to let it go, but it's a conversation starter for us. It helps us remember and stay connected to New Orleans even though we're not there. Lastly, the king cake kicks off the season of Mardi Gras, and it also helps bring our family together and keep us again connected to the city of New Orleans. So these are my 3 items that I want to share with you. I'm glad you took the time to listen, and I hope you enjoyed. Like we all say in the city of New Orleans, Laissez, le bon temps, rouler, let the good times roll.